Hello and welcome to the first version of the PowerUP podcast. Today we'll be covering everything Game Awards related. And just to quickly introduce who we are, my name is Grub. I am a Twitch streamer playing all types of video games. Currently playing Lies of P, which was snubbed. We'll talk about it later. And we're also here with Ace. So Ace, if you want to say hello and tell us a bit about yourself. What type of games do you play?
Anything and everything really. I mean, it's a lot of Mortal Kombat right now, a lot of sports games, but I try everything. I don't necessarily finish it. My backlog is horrendous, but you know,
That's definitely going to be a whole episode on itself. Backlogs.
Yeah.
I could read all mine, but that's like 300 games, and we don't have time for that in
Right.
this episode. So this episode is going to be absolutely full. If anyone knows what the Game Awards or watch the Game Awards, you'll know everything that we're going to be talking about. And again, leave anything in the comments. Join in. We love collaboration. Again, it's our first ever episode here on the channel. So join in, like, subscribe for more. So should we jump into the news then? So
Yeah.
if you want to kick us off with some of the pretty good news.
I'll say the best news in a while, really. GTA 6 announced, trailer dropped. It broke the record for most views in 24 hours for a trailer.
Incredible.
Third most. Two music videos have beaten it, but that's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, GTA 6. It's back in Miami. It's gonna be nuts.
Well, it beat Mr. Beast's record for most views in 24 hours, which is absolutely insane, considering how big Mr. Beast is. Like, incredible. Right. And they dropped it early. Did you watch it straight away?
I did not, actually. I think I waited that night because I watched it with my fiance. We watched it together. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they dropped it early, right? Because someone leaked it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure someone leaked it. So they were like, "Yep, we've got to release ourselves." Because no point waiting, or they done it on purpose to avoid leaks. It could be either or. But yeah, I saw it on Twitter. Like, a news report said GTA 6 is out early. Like, the trailer's out early. I haven't searched on YouTube in so long that fast. I was like, GTA 6. Like, I was on it, watched it. I was like, this is gonna be incredible. Like, but then they said 2025, and I was so heartbroken. We have to wait another year.
Well, it gives me time because, like, confession time. I have not finished the GTA 5 campaign. Like, I don't think I've gotten further than maybe 10% into it.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, the furthest I got, like, I just got introduced. I had all three characters, and then I, like, pretty much stopped. That's the furthest I got.
You've got so much to do.
I know. It gives me 2 years to do it, though, so.
No, a year and a bit. Hopefully early 2025. I'm hoping this is not December 2025. That's 2 years. No. January, February, or March 2025. Please just deliver it on my doorstep. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. I don't see how they can go wrong with it. They've had 12 years of just GTA 5, so
That's so long, and everyone's expecting so many big things. I'm afraid it just won't live up to exactly what everyone hopes, and then overreact to that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's scary. It's a tough position to be in for Rockstar.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, you create Red Dead Redemption 2, you create GTA 5. You have this framework now where you just don't miss.
Right.
If you miss, you're gonna be terrified. Like, the gaming community will not let you down. Like, this is the most anticipated game ever made.
It is.
I think it's released too late, but you know what? I'll forgive them if it comes out and it's a complete 10 out of 10.
I would say that's the thing too. I think we need to get past, like, the point of people wanting games out and then them being rushed with bugs. Cyberpunk is obviously the biggest example.
Best ongoing game. We'll talk about it later.
But I was happy for that.
You're happy? Ooh, we'll have a good debate on that then. In other news, moving away from GTA, because we could have a GTA just a discussion for like the whole podcast, but it's not the topic. It's not the topic today. So during the actual Game Awards, the finals was shadow dropped. It was just released. They never had a release date. They just dropped it.
Yeah,
Did you ever play the finals? You never
no,
played
but
it. Hmm.
I'm for sure looking to it.
It just looks really fast paced. It looks fun.
Right.
I've not played it myself. I never played the beta, but I
Yeah.
watched someone play it, and it actually looks like a lot of fun. You
It
can play light, medium, and heavy characters, and I think it's pretty good. I think I'll be light. I like running around pretty quickly. So,
Yeah.
would you be the same?
Uh,
Would you be a light character?
no, probably heavy. Jeez.
Ah, okay, so you'd be like more of the tank. You enter.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
respect it. Take one for the
Brute,
team.
brute force.
Brute force. Nice. And then the next news that we have is a funny one for me. So if you have not bought the newest COD, uh, Activision were giving players 30% off the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 if you had owned Modern Warfare 2019 or Modern Warfare 2. Are they desperate?
Well, yeah. I mean, first off, it should be 30% off in general because it's a DLC. Like, it should be DLC priced for DLC content.
Yeah.
It's cool that they charge that much for half baked game.
Well, I understand their point of view. There was more maps in this release than there was in any of the CODs recently.
Yeah, but they're all
Um, they're all
not hard.
remakes. They're all reskins. I know.
That's the whole point.
Yep.
Like, the whole reason I like I obviously don't make games. I don't know exactly how hard it is, but I'm sure it's easier to remake slash reskin a map than it is to build one from the ground up. So it just makes sense they were able to pump more out.
Yeah, I guess. But then I heard that they only had 16 months to make this game. We got
Weren't they?
told 2 year cycle.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the plan when it started bouncing between Activision, Treyarch, and Sledgehammer. There was supposed to be a 2 year
Hmm.
development cycle.
So I think Activision was going for that and then decided very late, hang on, no, we actually need a game for 2023. Forced them to make something which fans would be happy with. Modern Warfare 2 maps into a new game. Everyone loved MW2. I never played it. But yeah, everyone seems to be content with it. But I'm not paying $70 or £70, whatever, however much it is. I'm not paying for that. It needs to be cheaper for a remake.
I haven't bought Call of Duty since Cold War, and I don't really plan on going back to it. I was intrigued by this one. I tried the beta because I was like, MW2 maps, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And always camo grinding always like intrigues me a little bit because it always sounds super fun. But then I got in and I started playing, and I was like, yeah, I remember why I stopped kind of playing COD.
See, the camera grind for this year was also tempting me because last year's camera grind for MW2 was really fun. Really enjoyed it, but once I completed it, I had nothing left to do on COD because they left it. Season 1 update, nothing for the multiplayer, only ranked. So unless you wanted to play ranked, which I went on a 16 win streak, and then stopped playing because I was just bored. I got bored.
Right.
So yeah, if they brought back classic prestiges, I think I would have bought it.
That's another thing too. I miss the prestige system.
There's nothing to play for after you hit max level. After you get the cameras, like sure you can play for fun, but I like progressing. I like progression in video games. Like if I'm not progressing through anything, I'm not having
Right.
fun.
In all reality, the game isn't that much fun without going for those kind of side things.
Hmm.
So
If you
just bear.
remove skill-based matchmaking, I might have fun, but like I don't want to try hard. I don't want to sweat. I don't want to come home from work, load up my PlayStation, and get absolutely destroyed and just make my life a misery. Like gaming is
Right,
supposed to be fun. Like not
exactly.
every other game. Like, oh yeah, you don't really bad that game, so we're gonna give you an easy lobby now. But as soon as you do well in that lobby, oh, you're in for a treat. You're up against
Yeah,
pro gamers, so they're just there like, give me a
yeah,
chance.
yeah.
And then they wonder why people actually cheat. Like I hate cheaters, but like if you're not gonna give them a chance in like normal games, you're driving them to the cheats. Like
Right,
so, as much as I
right.
hate cheaters, I don't. They should be permanently banned IP wise.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then our final news for this week, and it's more for you PC gamers. Epic Games has announced, or we assume that starting from the 13th of December, daily free games for Christmas will happen. And there's been some really good games in the past for Christmas, like AAA games being given away for free. GTA 5 was actually one of those games. One
Well,
of them.
that game is free to everyone by now at this point. I mean,
I think I've
yeah,
got it on PC. I've got it on PlayStation. I had it on PS4. I had it on PS3. I'll probably have it on PS6 by the time that comes out. Like, it's
they're gonna offer a GTA 5 and 6 combo on the PS6.
honestly, they will. Like, I don't think GTA. Do you think GTA 5 will die when GTA 6 comes out? I feel like it's.
It depends what they do with online. GTA Online is like my biggest question mark around everything right now.
Do you think it would work if they merged? So like it was just like a DLC for online where you could travel between GTA 5 world and GTA 6 world? Do you think that could work?
Possibly, or I don't know. I could also see them making it a whole brand new experience and like the story being your character. Like you can import your character from GTA Online. You carry maybe your money over,
Hmm.
but like you start a new level, you don't obviously keep like
I don't know
I
about
don't.
money because you could just pay to win.
Oh, right. Maybe like there's a cap on it. I don't know
I
because you
mean,
have to be.
we've never had this before, have we? Because GTA 4 didn't have an online, so it's like it's the
Well,
first one.
and GTA 5 Online is such a like a behemoth of a like experience. Like it's so huge. It's its own game essentially.
I honestly don't know how people still play it. I got bored, but
Really?
yeah, it's just people still play it. People are incredible at it. It's just they're like, wow, like you've actually spent the last 10 years not playing any other game. You've just been playing GTA. Like, fair enough.
Right.
But
Yeah.
they've been given updates for it, so like I guess it is pretty constant.
Yeah. That's a big thing too. They keep doing updates, and it's not just like little updates like, oh, here's a new car. It's like a whole on like here's a new brand new set of heists, like
Mhm.
new facilities, new mission. Like it's everything. They do a
Yeah,
bunch to it.
which is good because I don't think, in my opinion, GTA 5 Online would survive. Like, it would be gone and then they would be forced to make GTA 6. I think that's one of the other reasons. I know we're going back to GTA 6. We won't do during the Game Awards discussion, we promise. But since GTA 5, like, online was just. It was some money maker. Like, everyone was playing it. It
Oh yeah.
still hasn't died. Still tons of players. They didn't need to rush a new game out to everyone because people were still content. Like, obviously, the last 2 years, people have been more asking, like, where actually is it? Like, we want this new
Right.
game now. But, like, they haven't had to. And I think that's good because it's taken the pressure off Rockstar a little, but, like, I think they'll feel it. They'll feel some pressure. Like, they can't let the community down after such a good game.
Yep. It's yeah. Like I said, Rockstar has the most pressure I think from any studio like ever to deliver with GTA 6.
I'd say CD Projekt Red for Cyberpunk had a lot of pressure on them, and they bottled it.
That because if I'm not mistaken, they were coming off of Witcher 3,
They were
right?
coming
Into
off of
Cyberpunk.
Witcher 3, and that game won Game of the Year. So
Yeah.
you think this Game of the Year developer coming up with a futuristic, looked incredible in the trailers, and it, yeah. So hopefully GTA. I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't announced to be on PC.
That is I know that's a big thing.
I think that's a good thing.
Why is that?
Because where you can do game testing, you can do game testing on a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox. It's all the same specifications. Everything's the same hardware. It runs everything the same. You can't have a different type of PlayStation. Well, obviously
I
you
got
can have a PlayStation 5 Pro, which aren't announced yet, but like you could have them, but then they can
right.
test it. Whereas a PC, my PC is completely different to everyone else's. Like, I don't think anyone else has got my type of PC, the exact
I
same specifications. So it's very difficult to test video games on a PC. So when the games come out on a PC, I expect them to have difficulties. Like Hogwarts Legacy, that only had issues on PC. PlayStation, it ran perfectly for me, but that's probably because they could test it. So
Right. I never thought about that. That's a valid point.
never buy day one releases on PC.
Good to know.
Unless your PC is high range, like 4,000, 5,000, and it can run anything, then fair enough. But like if you're on the middle end to low end, I'd stay away until everyone's complained about it and got them fixed. You might also get it for cheaper because sales.
Right.
I could be a salesperson, honestly. Okay, moving away from the news now. I guess the biggest news is Game Awards, so I guess it's news on news, but Game Awards is our topic. So moving on to the topic, I'm gonna start off with the pre-show. So what was like your biggest catch from the pre-show then?
I mean, obviously, one of my favorite parts of the Game Awards is obviously just the premieres, just to see what's coming out. And I think the coolest looking game on the pre-show was Harmonium. Harmonium, it just looks amazing. I mean, the first game at least that I can think of that is like specifically geared towards like the deaf community, which is amazing. It's cool. I hope more games start to do that, gear it towards a certain thing, because innovation is becoming its own thing. I mean, it has an award now, which is super cool, like accessibility. I think it's a really good thing for the community.
No, I agree. I don't think there's any game with sign language. I think this might be the first game with it.
Or with like so much.
Well, there's always subtitles in game, but like it's not the same. Like they'll be able to like understand as it goes. Like I can't do sign language. But like it's just incredible. Like I don't get like in schools and stuff, we get taught like Spanish, we get taught French, but we don't get taught sign language. Like that seems pretty universal to communicate with anyone.
And it would just be handy.
That was unintended pun. Holy.
Really what? I didn't even click. Like it didn't click until after.
Oh my goodness. Like moving on. One of the first games that actually premiered was the remake of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Now, we've both spoke about this before the podcast. We both haven't played it, but I had to look into it because I was really like, I have the game. Backlogs. But it was like a really unique game where you play as two people, the brothers, and you can control them by using the analog stick. So you use one for one brother and one for the other one. That's really unique. I don't think there's a game like that.
No, I mean, unless you're, I don't know if you guys have it in the UK, but like Cool Math Games over here in the US.
Yeah.
And there's Fire Boy and Water Girl on there. That game is elite, but that's like the only other one because you use WASD for one character and then the arrows for the other.
Okay, so it's not controller.
That's what I can compare it to, and that game is absolute heat. So, Tale of Two Sons will probably be good.
I guess you got Unravel, which you can play as two of the two things, but like you have to switch between them, so it's like not controlling both at the same time. But yeah, I think it would have been cool if they said, yeah, it's coming out as a remake, but you could actually play as co-op. Like they integrated co-op to it.
I saw it and I immediately thought like, oh, this is a co-op game, like perfect. Like I just want more co-op games to come out.
We'll talk about co-op games because I'm pretty sure one it will come up later in the show. And then moving on from Brothers of Two Sons, not Sales, Two Sons.
Sales.
We got Windblown, which looked very similar to Tunic. I don't know if you've seen Tunic.
No, I have not.
It's like a Fox platformer where you have to like walk around these worlds and fight bosses and stuff like that. It's really cool. Windblown looked identical to it, and it looked really, really good. Which is funny because another game that was made by the developers of Tunic was also announced.
Is that Glue 2?
No, it's not Glue 2. No. That was the June one.
Oh, Yeah.
The June game. Unusual June? Unusual June? I think it was Usual June. That game also looked incredible. It looked very colorful. But yeah, there was the same developers from Tunic. So like there was two very similar games that were announced like pretty much back to back.
Yeah,
Which
right.
if you're an indie fan, you'll be loving 2024. Like the games look incredible. Like they look so
Yeah.
much better than what they used to be. And I think there's just indie developers are just getting better. Like they're upping
Right.
the game so much.
Well, and one we left off this list
Mhm.
is I think it was called The Big Walk. Is that the one with like the little, I don't know, like they kind of look like Cubert. They remind me of Cubert. They got circle heads with like the nose on the end. But that game looks cute too. It looks relaxing and fun. But
Mhm.
that's like my main word to describe indie games is cute. So
And you're next on the list. What is cute?
Glue 2. I mean, I literally tweeted about it on Twitter that it looks adorable.
hmm
It just art style is amazing.
See, and again with indie games, like the art style is so unique compared to what you would expect from a triple A game. Like if you
Right.
want to break from a triple A game, like you've just played a massive game, like Red Dead Redemption 2, which takes like 50, 60 hours to get everything done, maybe even more, probably underselling. If you want 100% complete Red Dead Redemption 2, you're probably in the hundreds. But
Yeah.
like, if you want to step away from that, indie games are just perfect because
Mm.
they just offer you something different, and there's always a story hidden in the gameplay,
Right.
which only until the end half the time you actually understand what the message they were trying to tell you. And I find them games amazing because they're just there like, wow, I actually played that game, and now I understand what it was telling me. Like
Right.
it's so good.
And they're usually pretty short and sweet too. It's nothing that like takes up a large chunk of time. So it is just a quick, fresh breather. I mean, like
Mhm.
Stray. Stray is like my favorite example. That game is amazing. And it's like what,
Speedrun
like maybe 8 hours,
6,
if
6 probably.
six
Yeah.
to eight.
Probably. It depends how slow you go. If you want to look around everything and jump and everything, try and find all the collectibles in your first playthrough, then I guess it would be like 8.
Right.
But
Depends on scratch on stuff too.
hmm I
Being a
mean,
typical cat.
yeah, true. Just trying to break everything. Um,
Right.
I mean, with the Stray 2, there was Stray. There was an achievement for completing the game in under 2 hours, and I recorded it. Did it on stream. It took me an hour and 45, and that was not even optimal, like speedrun strats. That was just me trying to go as fast as possible. So I don't know
Right.
what the speedrun is for that game, but it's short. It's very short. But you buy indie games to play them for like 30 hours? No, no, you don't. So speaking
That,
about another like animal game, I guess the next one, Pony Island 2.
yeah.
That look
See, that,
weird.
it, it's wicked. It's weird. Speaking of art styles, this thing just throws all the art styles into a bucket and just shakes the shit out of it, and then throws it into a game. But I mean, it looks good. It looks interesting.
Looks unique. I mean, this is Pony Island 2. I've
Right.
not seen Pony Island 1. Was Pony Island 1 exactly the same to it? Like, we might have to search it.
Right. I've never heard of it.
Never heard of it before. And to go back to what Ace said about the Twitter, everything of our socials will be in the description. So, our Twitter, our TikTok, our Instagram when we finally get around to making it, and obviously our YouTube. Please subscribe. It helps us out massively. You know, we're just doing this as a hobby. We're doing this because we're passionate for gaming. So yeah, any support, liking, comments, subscribe, we'd love it. Absolutely love it.
Right.
Moving on to the awards that were given out in the pre-show. Best family game was awarded to Super Mario Wonder. Now, I haven't played this game. None of these games I've played before so far.
Me,
It
me
looked
either.
cool.
I mean, yeah, I want it. Like, I'm gonna get it eventually.
You
And
could
it's Mario. Like,
as an elephant. An elephant at one point. I've seen a clip. They're an elephant, so I guess like it looks cool. But like I've still got Mario Odyssey to play. But that's more like a single player experience, I feel.
Right.
Like you can play co-op, one could be the Hat and one could be Mario.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
yeah, you can play 2-player, which is weird. Like just a
that is
hat,
weird.
just a hat. Um, so yeah, I need to complete that because I've already got up to like the third world. Like this looks more like just like a Super Mario Bros. Game, where it's like a
Right.
platformer. Next up for the awards was the Innovation Award, and Forza Motorsport was victorious in this category. I thought that was a good one. There was a lot of games that could have won it, but
Right.
what they're doing in the gaming like racing scene, pretty damn good. Like you don't think of accessible racing too much,
Right.
but like Forza's paving the way, and like you could tell just by their speech after getting the award, like they wanted to make a game that was open for everyone, open for all the gamers. So
Right.
yeah.
Like it means they're not just doing it because it's something they should do. It means something to them.
hmm Like most
So,
games will probably just like, oh yeah, let's add subtitles, let's do this because yeah, it's
right.
some players will need it. Like they actually cared about, okay, well, how can we improve our game so that everyone can enjoy it? So I
Right.
really, that was a good award. Like I reckon that one should be in the main show. Like that's a
It should.
big one.
It
Like,
should.
but then again, I'd say all of these ones are big ones. Like they should have all been in the main show. But yeah.
I don't think there really should be any awards besides like maybe best mobile game because
Was that in the pre-show?
no, no,
Wasn't it?
it was in the actual
I
show.
was. Oh my goodness.
It was in
Um,
one of those where he like did 4 or 5 at a time,
gotcha.
but it was in there.
Makes sense. Well, the next one for the pre-show and the last one was actually all about esports. So like the best
Yeah.
esports, the best esports video game, the best coach, the best I think it was event as well.
Mm,
Um,
yep.
for me, for someone who likes esports and I'm involved in the COD 1, Apex, I've been watching a bit of FC, I watch Halo as well. Like it was very rushed. Like for something that people are supposed to be like it's a video game award thing.
Right.
Esports should be on a mantle right now. These are the best of the best. Like they should have been given a bit longer, I reckon.
Yeah. I think I don't know. It'd be tough because I want to say they should just have their own like award show.
They do, I guess. I
Do
guess
they?
they do. I think they do have their own. Um but like I still think it should have more time in like a game awards because that's just a whole new aspect of games that people be like esports.
Right.
Wow, like you can actually compete in video games. Like it just kind of just like, oh yeah, Faker won it. League of Legends, Valorant, like they
Yeah. Right.
didn't really give them much time. No one was there from the esports community. Like it didn't seem like a big thing for esports, whereas like it was mainly single player games. That
Right.
was.
Which to its own right, I think that's what the Game Awards focuses on as single player, and I
hmm
think they kind of do the esports things because it is a big part, and they have to give it its flowers.
hmm
They can't ignore. It. But I don't know. It is kind of a different aspect. It is multiplayer only, like competitiveness, whereas the Game Awards focus on like the artistic side of gaming.
Development.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I feel like it should have been given a little bit more
Right.
time.
It shouldn't have been rushed through. They could have even like spaced them out, did something, but
hmm
they rushed them. And that was the end of the pre-show. Onto the actual awards. Like, yeah, I get it. I get what you're trying to say.
And we actually start off the main show with one of the most controversial, yet one of the most hilarious things that happened throughout the whole show. And honestly, I enjoyed it. Did you
I,
enjoy it?
yeah, I didn't catch it
Mhm.
watching the initial speech. Well, because we were talking, like I mean, I was watching it with my fiance, so we were just talking about stuff, and like I heard him mention Call of Duty. That was the only thing I caught. I didn't hear the full roast until after, like I saw clips of it
Mhm.
on Twitter and stuff. But I think Christopher Judge just needs to be like a staple of the Game Awards. He needs to be there because he always does something that gets everyone talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year, he did a movie for his speech essentially, and then this year he just put cod on a grill. Like I don't.
Yeah, and if anyone hasn't looked at Twitter, Call of Duty developers are not happy with his comments. I mean, I understand it from the developer's point of view, but like if you're making a campaign which is supposed to be related to the original and you rush it and it's 4 hours and the ending didn't really seem like an ending,
Yeah.
then you deserve to be kind of roasted. Like you should get taken the mick out of. Like you shouldn't be feeling happy about what you've created when it's not good enough for $70.
Right. And at least for me too, I think biggest thing is like when I used to get Call of Duty, I would not play multiplayer until I had finished that campaign. Like the campaign was one of the biggest things for me.
Mm-hmm.
So like the slow decline of how less and less they care about the campaign. I mean, and another thing, like you can't just be willing to accept praise. You have to be able to accept like stuff like this when you get roasted or when stuff gets picked at. Because I mean, when you messed up, you messed up.
Exactly. But that was funny. It was what, like 1 o'clock in the morning for me, watching it, and I was just laughing. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, and I think something that also upset the COD developers was they weren't actually up for any nominations. Like, they weren't even mentioned throughout the Game Awards. And Christopher Judge just comes out in the first 2 seconds, goes, "My speech was longer than the campaign." Like, Jesus. Everyone in the crowd loved it. I loved it.
Oh,
I
right.
think most people who played COD took it as a joke. Like,
Right. That's the thing too. It is just in good fun. Like
Mhm.
I feel like if you've seen Christopher Judge's previous speeches and everything, you know he is like one of the most kind-hearted people like in the video game industry.
Mhm.
It's like it's obviously just in good fun to me
Well,
anyway.
I think it was Captain Price's voice actor was calling him a clown on Twitter. So the voice actor beef happening on Twitter. So I
I
mean,
mean, I take Kratos over Captain Price. I'm just saying, like
I mean, I've only played COD, so I'll have to go Captain Price.
that's a damn
Sorry,
shame.
I'm sorry.
Damn.
Well, it's made Captain Price is made from a real life person. Like he's based on
Really?
someone. Yeah, it's based on someone in the SAS. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, way cooler.
Oh yeah, it makes him way cooler that he's actually based on someone who is actually in the SAS.
Right. I like
So
history. I like that. So
again, next podcast episode, I'll do some research and I'll say their name. Actually, I don't know if saying their name is good. Actually, if it's world global, if I've searched it, it'll be worldwide information, right? It's not just like leaking
right.
someone's name. Like, oh yeah, by the way, this Secret Service agent's name is this. Just like
Like
put the whole world.
yeah, I'm not gonna like go through a detective process to like find his sister, call her, and be like, "What's his name?"
They go into hiding because I've just leaked the details. Um. Oh. Okay. Moving on to just the general Game Award show. How did you find the the turnaround? So
I
for
don't.
me, it was weird because you give celebrities like 6 minutes on stage to do their talking, which was just nonsense half the time. Like how they played video games, how was the first one, and like you have Anthony Mackie go, "No, you shut up. No, you." Like that took so long. Like he could have ended that, but he carried on doing it. It's like what? And then when the developers came up to collect the awards, they were getting told, "Please hurry up. Like please end." Like
Right.
it's supposed to be a celebration for the developers. It just wasn't.
Yeah, and Jeff, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Is it Kingsley? I think. Um, the host of the Game Awards, anyway, he tweeted after about the music for the speeches coming on way too early, and he said that throughout the show they were trying to fix that. Um, but I mean, you're right. I do also get where the Game Awards is coming from because bringing celebrities to the Game Awards is a huge thing. Because I mean calling it how it is, like, to a lot of people, gaming is still like a nerdy like thing you can make fun of people for. I mean, it shouldn't be, but that's just the way that it is. So when you get people like Matthew McConaughey, like Anthony Mackie, people who have played in major roles, like just major movies, like to come to the Game Awards, acknowledge it. Even like Matthew McConaughey working in and on a game, like I don't know, it's huge for just the industry. So I do get that, but they, like you said, they aren't necessarily as important as the actual devs who put their heart and soul into like the industry. It should at the very least be equal.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, again, on Twitter were very disappointed by Jeff. Like, they were like, you've ruined the Game Awards. I wouldn't say you ruined it. Like, he's the one that created it. He's like, there wouldn't be a Game Awards without him. So to say that he's ruined it and, like, he's, like, kind of Judas for, like, you were supposed to celebrate the devs. Like, you didn't let them talk and stuff like that. I mean, I guess they do have like a time slot that they have to fill. They have to be finished. So I guess they do have to be quick. You can't have a Christopher Judge speaking for 8 minutes, thanking everyone. But like, just a little bit more time, because there was so many world premieres, which we will go on to. Like, there was so many. Like, you could just remove one. That's an extra 3 minutes type of thing. Right. So.
Yeah. I completely get it. I do feel bad for the devs. So, and I also think he'll figure it out, because Jeff does truly love the industry. I don't think he's a money like dude. Like, he takes feedback, he'll dial it back next year.
So. Yeah, I have faith in him. I have faith in him, because the Summer Games Fest and all the other stuff that he does, like, I'm always super hyped when he's on stage.
But exactly.
I guess this year it didn't feel like an awards show. It was more of it was still like an E3 type thing. It was more reveals.
Yeah.
Than there was awards.
It was, for sure.
So, I guess people are there for the premieres, though.
But I mean, if I'm being truly completely honest, the awards are like a side part to me. I do mainly watch it for the premieres.
Makes sense.
And I'm not gonna lie and say I don't, but like, that is the most exciting part, because I think it is just truly the most exciting part. Unless you're like someone who worked on a game or is like die hard for a franchise, the awards are like, I don't want to say they're nothing, because they mean a bunch to those people. But if it's not, like I said, not something you are die hard for, it's not going to mean too much to you.
That makes sense. I understand it from your point. Again, this whole point of the podcast, like, we have good discussions, and we'll be able to obviously I see things in a different way, and then you see things in a different way, and we can able to like understand it from a different point of view. And again, if you're in the comments and you have a different point of view to what me and Ace have, please let us know. We'll love to read them, and we might even talk about them in the next episode. Again, if you have any comments as well for us to answer, like any questions, please leave them down below, and we'll do a Q&A section after the main topic in the next and the up and coming podcasts.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, speaking of premieres, if we can segue into that, God of War. I know you haven't played it, but if anyone like saw our Twitter, I freaked out when I saw Kratos come up. And although it is just DLC, first off, it's free, which is amazing. Santa Monica could have easily made you pay for this, and everyone and their dad would have paid for it. But they made it free because they're amazing. And it's a roguelite DLC. And apparently it's very, like, I don't want to say spiritual, but it's like more about Kratos' feelings, the DLC is, than just like killing stuff. So I'm very intrigued. That comes out next week, I believe, Wednesday or Thursday.
On the 12th, I believe.
12th, yeah. And I mean, I'll be playing it instantly. So I'm very excited for that.
Well, I can't wait to hear your judgment on that in the next week's episode. That'll be a lot of fun to listen to. Again, Ace mentioned, I've never played God of War. I have literally the God of War Ragnarok bundle, PlayStation 5. I got the code for that. Like, I've got both games on my PlayStation. I really need to get around to playing them.
You should. The the Norse Saga is some of the best like just gaming I've ever played. It is so fun, so good, and I'm with you on the same page with the whole getting a bundle because I have the Horizon Forbidden West bundle, never touched it. So I don't know if it just when it comes to console we just stay away, but
Sometimes, like, I know at the very start when I bought my first bundle, so the bundle that I bought when I first got my PS5 was the Miles Morales and PlayStation 5 controller bundle. So, like, I got 2 controllers, I got Miles Morales, and that was like £100 extra. But that was the only way at the time that you could get a PS5. If you went solely for a standalone PlayStation 5, they sold out in seconds.
yep,
So I had to go for the bundle because I saw online they're like, if you go for the standalone, you have less chance of getting one. You'll have more success by paying for the more expensive one. But if it's a game that you want to play anyway, you might as well do it. So
right.
I have a spare controller, which I haven't opened up. I actually got a new controller because I wanted a black one. So I actually got a new controller. You got a black one? Oh, you got Miles Morales. Or
No,
Spider-Man
this is
2.
Spider-Man 2.
Oh my
This is the
goodness.
color. I pre-ordered this puppy when that whole stuff dropped. So, yeah, that's the only controller I've been using. I just have that and then the white one that came with the console. So,
Well, my white one's got really bad stick drift. Obviously, I've had my console now for like 3 years, so
right.
it got that bad that single player games were being affected, not just like multiplayer like shooters. So I got this for Christmas. Obviously, got it already. Black Friday deal from £60 to £40, so like a
Yep.
third off. And for a controller, like it used to be £40 anyways for like PS4 controllers. So I didn't mind.
Right.
Didn't mind. Plus I prefer these controllers. Like PS4 ones are now weird on my hands. These are nice. Anyway,
They're nice.
back to the premieres. I'm sorry,
All
side
right.
tangent.
All
I
right.
need to play God of War.
You, for sure.
hmm
But casting of Frank Stone, that trailer, I loved it. Having that song on there, Daylight by David Kushner,
Have you
I don't know
listened to it?
but I'll say I listened to it before this trailer came out, so I recognized it right away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that trailer. It I tweeted it out. It's cinema, like it. That's what it felt like to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that game does look interesting. Behavior and Supermassive collabing, I feel like can only mean good things when it comes to a game.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
But yeah, have you actually listened to the song after that? Because with me, I heard the song and I played it
Mm-hmm.
on Spotify afterwards. Like it's one of those like the trailer was that good that I was like, yeah, what's the song? Daylight. Listen to it on
Yeah,
repeat for like at least 2 to 3 times. So I was just there like,
I get that, and you'll probably connect that song to that trailer probably because like I do the same thing with I don't the Bomb by Pigeon John, I think is his name. It was like the old Dead Island 2 trailer when that game was supposed to come out the very first time with the dude running down the boardwalk.
mm-hmm,
That song is on there. Every time I listen to that song, that's what I correlate it with. So I totally get where you're coming from.
makes sense. But what is your thoughts on the actual game itself though? Because when it
I
got
don't
like revealed, I was like, oh, this is a DVD expansion. It's just like it's something that's from one of the Dark Pictures anthology. It's just going to be one of those characters, and it's going to be 4 characters from there joining up, and it's going to be an expansion. But then
right.
at the end, it's like its own single player. Like, is it going to be more like Until Dawn, the Quarry type thing? Like, because that would be
I
insane.
I think so. I really don't know though. I could see them like trying to do a mixture of like some DVD aspects because I mean obviously in the trailer they showed the
The
hook, they
Hook.
showed the end.
That's why I thought it was an expansion. Because I was
Right.
like, there's 4 characters, 4 characters as survivors. You've got the Frank Stone, which is the killer. So I was just
Right.
assuming it was 1 killer, 4 survivors, DVD expansion, and then he tricked me and it was like, no, this is a single player experience. And I was just there like, well, so be damned, I'm buying that.
Yeah, it might be like a essentially just a long drawn out Dead by Daylight game in like a story format, which I'll definitely love. I just the one question mark I have about it is like how much pre knowledge you're gonna need about the Dead by Daylight like universe
Mhm.
to understand that because if you haven't played Dead by Daylight, they have these things called tomes, where when you complete missions, you unlock parts of the story for every character in that game. So I don't know how much you're going to need to know about all those characters to play this game. So one of the biggest reveals, I would say, one that it definitely got the loudest reaction, I think, was
just by his name.
Yeah, his name popped up. Everyone went wild. OD by Kojima, and then I think probably the most unfair pairing when it comes to gaming, but he has Jordan Peele working on this game with him, which, have you seen the Jordan Peele horror films?
Which horror films does he make?
Get Out, Us, and then Nope.
Oh, them ones. No, I actually haven't, but like I've heard nothing but good things. So
they're all. Get Out is one of the like best horror like psychological thrillers I think I've ever seen, and I'm a very big movie guy. So for those two to be collabing on a horror game, I can only see like 10 out of 10s in its future. Like, it's gonna be hard for them, I think.
Well, let's hope, because I mean, like you said, sky is the limit for this game.
It is. It truly is.
Like, just the reception from like it didn't really reveal much. Obviously, it was just the
No,
name.
it was a weird trailer. I will say that they were just talking about, I don't know, this like elephant. They were talking about something eating a dog. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, I didn't really follow the trailer. I just saw the name was OD,
right.
Which
and
don't know what that stands for.
I can't remember her name. I think it's Overdose.
Well, that's what people were assuming, but then they were like, "Would you have that as a game title?" Like, I think that's yeah.
I see what.
I don't know if you would have that as a game title, so I don't know if it will be.
Right. And then I can't remember her name, but she's the girl who plays, I want to say her name is Barb in the It movies, the newest It movies. But that's the redheaded girl at the beginning of the trailer. So for her to be in it, that'll be super good.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. Sorry.
I can't even remember her character's name. I want to say it's Barb, but I know that's the character in Stranger Things, and I cannot like.
And Will was in both. Was it Will? Was it Will in both? Or was it?
No, it's Fit.
I forgot his character. Mike. Yeah, it was Mike. Mike is in both.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, off of Stranger Things, Jurassic Park. I've never seen the movies.
Oh,
I know.
Wow.
I'm going to. Know. My fiance loves them. Loves the Jurassic World movies at the very least.
Good taste. Good taste.
So, and this game, it takes place after the event of the first movies.
Yeah, I could tell that just from the trailer. Like, if you've watched the first one, like, you know everything that's about in like that trailer. Like, the kitchen scene. Oh, I got chills.
Right, and I
haven't kitchen scene.
Haven't seen the movie, but I know of that scene. It's like, I mean, it's one of the most famous scenes just in like history, like cinematic history.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that'll be a day one purchase.
Mm-hmm. I like how it, like, even though it takes like place after the first events, if you watch the first Jurassic World, the thing that she does with the flare is what happens in the first Jurassic World to get rid of the big baddie T-Rex.
Oh, which, by the way, that roar, I hope that is that good in game, because that, like, on high end headphone system, dude, that'll be so good.
Hopefully, but yeah, it's just cool because in the first movie of Jurassic World, they used the flare to like guide the main one to somewhere to help them, and then it actually works. So like it's just cool to see like the flare pop up. Like it's so like little, but like just that moment, like that was in the movies. Like it was so good, so good.
Yeah.
But the next game is also based on TV and film, right? It's Marvel.
Blade. That was another one that I fell on my keyboard about. When we were watching it, I didn't see the Marvel logo pop up.
Oh, you didn't?
We were doing something, and the first thing I saw on the screen was when the trailer started. Mm-hmm. Or I saw the Arcane Leon logo pop up, and then the trailer started, but I didn't see Marvel, so I didn't know it was Blade until I figured it was when I saw the vampire teeth.
Yeah.
But it's made by Arcane Leon. which they made Deathloop and Dishonored, which I haven't played Deathloop. I did play Dishonored.
Deathloop got bad reviews.
Did it?
I
I say
think so.
I have backlog.
Mm-hmm.
But the art style looks really good. It's based in Paris, which I feel like is always a cool setting, especially for things like vampires.
Yeah. Because there's
I
always
mean, like,
garlic in France.
right, right, and I would imagine, and I kind of hope, doesn't Paris have the catacombs? Isn't that a thing?
Does. It does.
So I hope that's a part of that game we get to explore. It'd be cool with Blade. Um, the the one thing that upsets me, it doesn't upset me because I get it, but it will most likely be an Xbox exclusive because
Mm-hmm.
Arcane League is now owned by Xbox. So
Potentially, but like there's always games that are on both. So there's I think Marvel will push for it to be on both. Because but then again, you've got Spider-Man that's PlayStation
that's
exclusive.
that's
So yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it will be an Xbox exclusive.
and if that's the case, I will be buying an Xbox for Blade. So
I mean, you've got Starfield that you could play. There's a lot of games now that are on Xbox. Like Xbox is definitely catching up with
right,
their like own games. I mean, by buying everyone, like you're clearly gonna get some good exclusives. Bethesda, Activision now, so many, so
right.
many.
They have Game Pass, which will be its own chunk of an episode, I'm sure. But that is like
Hmm.
one of the best deals in gaming right now. So
Yep.
yeah. And then after that, we had Rise of Ronin, sorry,
Hmm.
um, which PlayStation fired back, I suppose, with it's a PlayStation exclusive.
Yep.
So, but that game looks amazing.
That game did look good, and it's coming out in the 22nd of March 2024, so we don't even have that long to wait for it. And I've only just completed Ghost of Tsushima, and obviously Ronins were in there. Um, And if it's anything like Ghost of Tsushima, oh my goodness, this game is going to be good. It's going to be very good.
Yeah, that'll be another one that I will look to probably get shortly after it drops.
Hmm.
The art style looks very, very amazing in it.
I just
Um,
love the combat. Like, I didn't think I would like the combat um, in Ghost of Tsushima, and then I ended up absolutely loving it because there was like 4 stances, and every single stance had its own purpose. Like,
right.
it was just so good. It's just so good.
Yeah. And the combat in that game looks, if I'm not
Clean.
mistaken, go to little combat. That stuff looks fluid. It looks good.
It does look clean, and it looks gory as well.
Which looks good. I mean, I'm a Mortal Kombat fan. I love my gore. So
Fair enough, fair enough. The next game was early on, but it was like it set the tone for what premieres would kind of come up. That was Exodus.
yeah, there was. I mean, it probably had the longest chunk of the show when it came to a single game.
Hmm.
Um, Matthew McConaughey came out and gave a presentation on it. I still don't know. Did he like say his exact purpose on the game?
Well,
Like, is he
he's gonna
voicing?
have a different relationship with everyone. Like he's the main character. He was the main character in the trailer.
Oh, okay. See, I'm not good at like he obviously his voice is different than his like normal text and like drawl, but I couldn't really tell. I wasn't for sure, but that game it just looks amazing. It's another Matthew McConaughey space project. Shocker, but uh, I'm sure it'll be just amazing. I
Oh,
mean,
game.
it looks like it'll be a game too to pull on some heartstrings. So
Again, I know he said he'll have like unique relationships with everyone who plays this, so I don't know whether the story is gonna have like different endings, like different things that you could do that like maybe I steer right and you steer left or something like that. Like really small things, but like it makes a difference throughout the whole game. Like
right,
I don't know, that game just it looked good. It looked like Mass Effect. So I've only played the first Mass Effect. And I've got
I
a bit
I've
of two.
I've tried the first Mass Effect. It was when I was littler, so I didn't really understand it, but I should go back and play them.
Definitely, the first one's incredible. I only stopped the second one because of like university and stuff, and I just didn't have
Right.
time. And once you
Yeah.
stop playing a game for a while, you kind of just like don't have motivation. Like I understand what's going on in the game. I still know like what part I'm up
Right.
to. So I could easily just go back to it, but like it's still a struggle for the next game. And I've only played partial of Ori. It's the No Rest for the Wicked. And now this game looks incredible. Like it will be moving, and yeah, just the visuals are stunning again. Indie games, you're doing amazing. Like you're so good.
They all look beautiful. Like I, this isn't one that I like myself because I had never played Ori,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, it just looked amazing. Like it was a trailer that I was locked into and watching. It looks good.
It looks very good, and I mean with Ori, like the story itself, and like it's moving. Like it's upsetting at times. It's amazing. It's just everything. Like Ori is
Yeah,
so good. Like I've not even completed the game, and I was touched by it. It's like it was very good.
yeah.
I need to complete it. It was on Xbox Game Pass when I had it on the PC, so I bought like the 3 month thing. I played a little bit of it and then just didn't get around to finishing it. So I need to get back to it and just complete it because that game was incredible. But No Rest for the Wicked comes out March 1st, so we're eating good in March. We're eating
It's
good.
another quicker turnaround. And I think I tweeted something along the like this lines, but 2024 is going to be another super strong year. It seems like
Hmm.
2023, like this year was. You could debate it's been one of the best years like in history for gaming. I mean, we had Tears of the Kingdom, right? We had Spider-Man 2. You had Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield. Like there was a lot of huge games that came out this year.
Hmm.
And I mean, next year with the quality that some of these games could be, it could be another like comparative year.
Well, people will definitely disagree with you on the best for PlayStation. People have felt like PlayStation did not do anything incredible this year compared to Xbox because they had like Starfield. Like Starfield was the big name. The big name for us was Spider-Man 2, obviously. Like
Yeah.
there just didn't seem to be much that PlayStation offered this year. I think yeah, and they increased the price of everything. Like they increased the price, but then haven't given anything to us. Like so, yeah, people
I,
aren't happy with PlayStation right now.
I get that. I'm a simple man. You give me superheroes. Or, I mean, Mortal Kombat. Like I'm good. I'm easy to please when it comes to gaming. So yeah, I've been enjoying it.
Well, for me as well, like I'd rather them slow down a bit so that I can catch up because I've got so many games to play. Like, please, Xbox, PlayStation, all game developers, can you take a year off? Because I want to play all your games, but you're not giving me time to. Like, I have a 9 to 5 job. I just don't have time. Slow down for me, please.
Yeah, I completely get that.
Another game that I haven't played, No Man's Sky.
Yeah,
They
there. I know.
revealed. Oh,
Yeah.
what a game.
Well, I mean, I think we can all remember what happened with No Man's Sky when it released. The over promising, big flop. Didn't deliver on any of those. It was one of like, at least off the top of my head that I can recently remember, like one of the worst launches, like receiving wise, like feedback wise.
Yep.
Like I can't remember pretty like really anyone having great things to say about that game when it came out. But 10 years on, they've stuck to their guns, and that game I've heard is now one of like the better games to play with all
Hmm.
they've had, how they worked on it.
The updates that they've made to that game look incredible. Like the promises that they made in day one are now in the game.
Right.
So like it's now complete. Um, so like if I was to play the game now, I'll probably have such a good experience with it. Whereas those who played it from day one will probably still have that type of, well, the game just let me down at first. Like there's always gonna be that thing. But yeah, Light No Fire looks very
Yeah.
good.
It's another one where they're making a big leap. I mean, they did the whole universe like I can't think of the word right now, but like auto generating essentially.
Yep.
Uh, like universe, and now they're condensing it down to one planet
Uh,
with Earth. It's an Earth. Yeah, it's. I don't know. It should be good. And he said in that little blurb they've been working on it for 5 years now. So hopefully it's not a repeat of No Man's Sky. They've given themselves enough time. They have more experience now as a team.
I think
So
one of the main points that they talked about was they've learned from their mistakes and not gonna overpromise anything. Like I think
right,
once you've made a mistake like that, you should be able to correct it. Like, or if you make another game which you've overpromised, no one's gonna really trust you. So
right,
I think, I mean, you've just mentioned they've been working on this game for 5 years, only just revealing it now. Like I've not heard of like them making a game, so the fact that they've kept the secret for 5 years, that can only mean good things. Now people will want to maybe try and rush it. But like I think with video games, you like if you're making one, just keep it quiet for as long as possible, because then you won't feel the pressure from the community. Like, well, we want it now. We really want to play it. Like as much as like it's a fun. Like, oh, I really want to play this now. Like it's just like I'm anticipating. Like that might put extra pressure on them, so they don't deliver what they wanted to. So yeah, I like it.
right.
I like it. They kept it quite quiet.
Yeah. And another thing too with like encouraging the purchase of the game, like they've worked on No Man's Sky for 10 years. You know you're not going to buy Light No Fire, and it's going to be done through its cycle in 2 years. They're probably going to have another longer development period, more updates, that kind of thing.
hmm
It's like what's going to be a good, like valued purchase.
Yeah. Especially if you like games that last a while, like GTA 5, like No
Right.
Man's Sky. There's plenty of other games, like any MMO. Like basically, you buy it once and then you've got a game that you can play on non-stop. So apart from, I mean, this is gonna be another podcast topic where we talk about like games that are yearly and the games that are more like less frequent. That's a whole podcast. So if you haven't done so already and you're listening to us right now, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We're gonna have weekly podcasts coming your way, and they're only gonna get better. Like we're new to this, like we're nervous, like we just want to deliver like something incredible to you all. So we are nervous, but like once it gets more flowing, we are on episode 2, episode 3. It's gonna feel more natural. Again, we'll take all your comments. Even if they're mean, we'll take them on board.
Yeah. Well, another like I probably the most excited for this game than most of them on this list. The Last Sentinel, I think it's just called Last Sentinel actually, looks amazing. I love the setting. It's a dystopian Tokyo, which will just I'm sure be gorgeous, and it's made by Lightspeed LA, which I don't know if that's just a division of a bigger studio. I'm not entirely sure. But it's made by like rockstar veteran developers. Like the main guy I can't remember his name and I didn't note it down, but he was like one of the head developers of GTA 5 when it first released. Like this is another game where I can only think like the sky's the limit,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm so excited for it.
I mean, I've not really got any comments on this game myself. I think I might have been asleep during this reveal. So if anyone didn't know, the Game Awards was on from 12:30 a.m. till around 4 a.m. And I tried my best to stay up, but I had a really busy day at work. So I do a 9 to 5, came home, stayed up, and then at like 3 a.m., I didn't even notice myself falling asleep. But I woke up literally has like the game of the year was revealed. So like that was the perfect time to go, oh yeah, turn my TV off and went to bed.
Yeah,
So yeah, I missed a lot of this. So like some of these don't actually like I don't remember them. Like Last Sentinel, I don't remember.
yeah. That's one. Go back and watch.
hmm
Another thing too, like it's supposed to be open world, so like just thinking about the visuals of a dystopian like Tokyo open world, and it seems to be like something along the lines like it's not obviously exactly Detroit Become Human, but it is Android like
hmm
characters in there.
hmm
So I feel like it's gonna be amazing.
I guess the world is just gonna be phenomenal. Like Tokyo in itself is beautiful.
Right.
It's a place that I want to go in the future. Like if I can go there, just explore the culture and just see Tokyo. Like It's definitely one for the bucket list.
So another game I'm very excited about, Exoborn. It's I want to say like the first of its kind, as in it's a looter shooter. Think like Tarkov. Um, but it's going to be on PlayStation, on Xbox, and on PC.
Okay.
I don't know good like real looter shooter on PlayStation. I mean, if you count Hunt Showdown,
Hunt
like
Showdown
the
definitely is. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
Destiny 2 is a looter shooter.
is it?
Basically,
Yeah,
it's a big MMO RPG. It's
right.
basically what you class as a looter shooter. Borderlands.
Yeah, I guess more extraction shooter. I guess
Yeah.
would be the word extraction shooter.
Then
Um,
no. I mean, you had DMZ and COD. That
yeah,
was the
we'll
only
push
thing. We'll push that
that.
to the side because basically what they've done now with MW3 is rendered it as the zombies mode. And force you to pay £70 for something that you already had back for
Yeah,
free in the DMC. But we won't talk about COD. But there was also another shooter, which I actually remember I was awake for, called Ready or Not. That game looked incredible.
yeah,
You're part of the SWAT team. Like that gives me Rainbow Six Siege story, no single player vibes. Like
yeah,
that'll be incredible.
yeah. That'll be in like kind of in that same like aspect of like the shooter, like high intensity situation. The Den of Wolves game
Hmm.
that's made by the people who made Payday and GTFO.
Okay.
That game, that'll probably be very fun. I hope it's not as like clunky as Payday. That was kind of one of my biggest gripes when I played it. Was it moves weird, it feels weird, but I, that's another one I'm excited for. I just there's so much coming out in the next couple of years that was revealed at this. Like, there's too much.
Hmm.
You tweeted it. Our bank account's dry.
Yeah. And if we went on about all of the game reveals, this podcast will last for hours. So we're gonna quickly move on. Again, there are a lot of games that we've missed out that
Oh,
we could talk about. But again, just trying to think about time. Developers play your music. Sorry, rushed off the stage. Oops. Now awards though. We're getting to the big part, the whole point of the Game Awards.
yeah.
And I want to quickly start off with Spider-Man 2 was nominated for 7 of the awards. It didn't win a single thing. Are you surprised?
No, not really, because Spider-Man 2, I think it's a great game, but I don't think it was. I don't like if it would have won any of them. The only one I would have seen deserve it of is the best performance. I think Yuri Lowenthal did a great job as Peter this game, but all the other ones, like the games who won it, I'm not like up in arms like, oh, they shouldn't have won. Like it's all deserved. I figured we'll get to it later, but I figured Baldur's Gate 3 would have a very good night.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played it, but I've seen gameplay. I've heard things about it, and like it doesn't surprise me. And I also don't think it's a bad thing on Spider-Man 2 to not win out of 7 things. Like not a lot of games get nominated that many times, so it does speak something to it still.
True. That is true. Like, just been nominated 7 times. I guess it is kind of like a popularity contest in sense that it was the players that voted. So
Right.
you've only got PlayStation fans voting for Spider-Man 2, whereas is Baldur's Gate both platforms? I think it is, isn't it?
I think so. I
So you've got
had a
everyone voting for it if they've played the game. So I mean, Baldur's Gate just looks incredible. Again, we'll
yeah,
talk about that in a moment.
it really does. And like Sigmund Freud, I mean, just like the history part, he what was nominated for a Nobel 13 times, didn't win, but he's still the father of psychology. Like it's not a bad thing to not win. To
Hmm.
be nominated is its own honor. So
Fair enough. Just given losing another meaning. No. So fair play for
yeah,
Spider-Man 2 to even get these nominations. Like the developers
right.
worked hard. I can't wait to play the game. It's I mean I've played Spider-Man 1, I've played Miles Morales, I just need to get around to playing Spider-Man 2. And I think this one is it better than the others? Would you say it's better?
I think so.
Better than
I
Spider-Man
do.
1?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
but I think it'll be kind of to each their own thing because I do like that they shrinked the villain pool. It wasn't 6; it was a smaller number this time, and it gave them more
Spoilers.
it gave them more personality.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not trying to say how many there is, who, like what. I'm just saying it's not this. It's just not the Sinister Six this time,
Mm-hmm.
and
Which is good.
it gives the villains more heft. It's like in the first one, it almost felt like, oh, like they're just like little bosses over. It almost felt Far Cry-ish if you played Far Cry, where they're only like in different zones.
Yeah.
They felt mine.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in this, an overbearing like gloom. I don't know. I
No,
preferred it.
I think I'll prefer that as well. So I'm excited to play it.
Yeah.
Again, I think 6, they just felt like side bosses. Like I don't
Right.
think like putting them both together, like in the first game, like you had 2 and a 2. They didn't feel like main bosses because
Right.
like you beat both of them at the same time. Like there wasn't its own boss fight. So yeah,
Right.
definitely looking forward to the boss fights in Spider-Man 2. Next up, another game that I felt like deserved to win was Lies of P. And I know you said it before. Recency bias might be a factor for me because I'm still chapter 8 out of 11. I'll be playing it after this podcast. I need to complete it. But for me, this game is just as good as Bloodborne. It's just as good as Elden Ring. Again, I have not completed Elden Ring. We won't discuss why. But the game was just it's really good. Like I feel like it deserved one thing because it's not FromSoft. It's this other developer who's made this game, and
Right.
they've nailed it on the first attempt. I think it's the first attempt. Of like a FromSoft style of game. I think it's the first attempt, and they've knocked out the park. And I hope they do something similar again in the future because
Yeah.
I just can't wait to see what the ending's got for me because that game, I'm loving it so far. I'm loving it.
It looks good. I mean, I popped in on your stream. Obviously, you played a bunch of it on your Thankmas stream,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, it looked good. I liked like the musical vibe to it.
Yeah,
It's a
it
very
didn't
unique, very
even
cool.
win that. Like, oh, like it didn't win that. Like the music and the direction.
Right.
Like,
I can't remember which one won the best score. I know best sound went to Hi-Fi Rush, like best sound design.
Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, okay.
That see knowledge. I was
Yeah.
asleep for that award. You should have known. Uh, we're going on to the winners now. So we've got rid of the losers that maybe shouldn't have lost. There's obviously a lot of games that missed out, but again, like you said, missing out. At least they were nominated. There's a lot of games that were nominated. Hogwarts
Right.
Legacy, like that didn't get nominated for a single award, and I think
Yeah,
maybe that was due to it being released at the start of the year. Like it was released too early for people to remember it to be nominated, and I
for sure.
don't think the Harry Potter label helps at all when it comes to like the awards. You don't want the controversy of like the J.K. Rowling thing to be
Yep.
surrounding the Game Awards. Like the negativity behind that would have just made the event more
Right.
toxic.
It's about gaming is about bringing people together, giving everyone a common thing to be excited about, be happy about,
Mm-hmm.
delve into, so to have like a negative stigma, which is unfair in its like in its own right because they I mean J.K. Rowling was not involved in the process of Hogwarts Legacy whatsoever. It is just the property that she wrote,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still it's I mean it has to be tied in.
Yeah, it definitely has to be because I was shocked when I didn't see it nominated for literally one thing because that game was good. Like I played it day one, and it was actually
Yeah.
one of the only games that I played day one because it was bought for me as a present.
Oh, nice.
So when people won't follow me on Twitch, I was like, I didn't buy the game, by the way. Like I haven't paid J.K. Rowling. This was a gift. I'm just
Yeah.
playing something like I'm just playing the game. I'm just enjoying something that I've loved from when I was little. And again, I actually was raising money at the time for No More, which was a sexual assault and domestic violence thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm raising money to stop discrimination and stuff like that. Like, you
Right.
really think I share the same views as J.K. Rowling? Like, no. But can I not play the game and not share the views? Like, you don't go to work and share the same views as your colleague, he could be the most racist, sexist, homophobic person, but you work with them because like you get paid for it. Like you might not even know it, but like deep down, you don't know what's going on inside someone's head. Like
Right.
you could be friends with someone. Like it's tough because unless you verbally say something, you don't know what they're thinking.
Exactly.
So like it's a tough one. Like people really hated on people and streamers that played that game, but I think you should be allowed to do what you want. Like if you enjoy it
Right.
to a reason. Like it's a video game.
Right, and it would have been completely different if it was like a J.K. Rowling like brainchild project thing
Yeah.
that I could get protesting, raised like being angry about. But like I said, she was not in development. It is merely just using her property. Like
She does get paid for it. I understand that. But like pennies. She's so rich. Like the money doesn't matter to her. And I guess they did say like it would fund her like voice kind of thing. Like you're giving her more power by buying the game. Fair enough,
right,
but like you also giving us power to fight back at her.
right to
Like
like change the narrative.
yeah.
That's the whole thing. Like you can take it and spin that
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Push that aside. We don't want any negativity again. We don't.
Right.
We don't. What's the word?
Um,
We condone? Is that the word? Is that
maybe I can't read your brain.
we don't share the same views? I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
they.
say like a really long word, and then that means the complete opposite of what I'm trying to say. So we don't share the same views. But going on to a view that I do share, Forza winning twice. Have you seen much of Forza? Because I know we're both PlayStation. But
Yeah,
like, did
no.
you see how good it looked? I mean, there was a
I mean,
few things that they missed, but
I know it looks good, and I know it's a very in-depth racing game, which I know a lot of people love. Just not really my thing. I'm more of like a Fast and the Furious, like, oh, this thing makes this all go up, and it shows me exactly. I don't have to like know how cars work.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I do, I do like that Forza was able to win twice. That a racing game was able to win some awards. It's cool.
Yeah. And I honestly think this leads the way for more racing games, like Forza. I mean, Gran Turismo 7, I absolutely love that game. I really enjoyed it. I got platinum on it. I had to do quite a lot of races and stuff like that on that game. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed it. But that's like the racer in me. I don't think Forza's better than Gran Turismo 7. If you there was a screenshot online that showed like the difference between like the graphics of them racing at Spa at nighttime, and like the track itself looked better in Gran Turismo 7 and the game itself just looks better in Gran Turismo 7. So I'm gonna stick with the PlayStation exclusive here. Like Gran Turismo 7's better PlayStation, but it's nice to see Forza like a like a staple in the racing community winning stuff. Like it's nice to see. Like if I had an
yeah,
Xbox, I'd play Forza.
right.
One of the biggest for me that I was interested to see was most anticipated game award. I know I voted for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I am absolutely so excited to play that game. I mean, for those who don't play Final Fantasy, if you want to play one, play Final Fantasy VII Remake. That game is like a third of the original Final Fantasy VII, but like they're splitting it up into 3 parts, right? That game is incredible. As my first ever Final Fantasy game. Since then, I've played Final Fantasy 14, which is also very good. And I also played a bit of Final Fantasy 15, which I also need to complete. But I mean, I didn't really watch the trailer for the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I don't want it spoiled because I've never seen the original game. You see,
Right.
um, so I've not seen what happens. Like, I don't know what happens in the original, and I kind of don't want to spoil. But like, I just saw Aerith on screen. I was like, Final Fantasy VII. Like, oh, so hyped. Like, I just need more Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa in my life. And Barrett. I just need that. Just need them back in my life. And it's coming out this year, and I can't wait. That's gonna be a game that I'm buying day one. And yeah, it's Final Fantasy VII, big winner.
Yeah, good for Final Fantasy.
You've never played one, so I understand. I understand. Like,
I'm not a huge fan of how many like remakes, whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't know. I could definitely see myself getting super into it if they maybe if I did more research or talked to someone a little more, but like if I knew a clear, concise like starting point that I could do and move forward.
you don't have.
But
You can play any Final Fantasy game. They don't go into each other. So you can
correlate,
play. You could play Final Fantasy X and then go back and play Final Fantasy 3. They're standalone games. So you can play any. That's why I went for Final Fantasy 7 because I only heard good things.
might have to play Final Fantasy now that I know that. See, I just need to talk to someone.
Yeah, exactly. Write in the comments, which Final Fantasy games do you play? Because I know a lot of my community play 14, and I need to get back to playing the MMO. But I messed up with that game, and I won't talk about it in this. But like, I messed up. The second best winner. Like there's two games, two developers that won big at the Game Awards. Remedy with
Yeah,
Alan Wake 2.
I think it's pretty surprising. Like I knew the game would be very good. I haven't played it myself. I haven't finished the first one. Um, but I didn't expect it to win 3 awards for sure.
I mean, the three that they won are very similar. Like narrative, game, and art direction. It was like the direction that they went with the game was incredible. Again, I have not played it, but like the three that they won are very similar categories. So like,
Right.
if they won one, you'd expect them to win all three. But like, this takes nothing away from Alan Wake 2. Like, the
Absolutely.
trailers for that game looked incredible, and I mean, there's a lot of these games that I'm gonna have to really just throw to the top priority list on my backlog. Because I feel like I'm missing out with some of these AAA games, like, because I haven't played them. When
Right.
like a new one comes out, it's like, oh shuck, should have played
Yeah.
that. So
And
definitely,
then the biggest winner,
of course.
time, Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, never played. I haven't played it. I haven't played any of their games besides Division 2. But I expected it to win
Mm-hmm.
big, and it did that and more. I mean, you have it listed here. It won Best RPG, Best Multiplayer Game, Best Community Support, Best Player's Voice. It won the Player's Voice Award, Best Performance, and it won the Holy Grail Game of the Year. I mean, it swept up.
People were upset by the fact that it won over like Spider-Man. It won over Tears of the Kingdom. It won over Resident Evil remake. Again, I don't think a remake should really win Game of the Year because it's a remake. What else did it win over? Alan Wake 2, obviously.
Yeah,
But I just felt like like from what I heard about the game, everyone in my community was raving over this Baldur's Gate 3 game. Everyone loved it. I didn't see a winner out of the other ones. Like maybe Tears of the Kingdom, but like it seems too close to Breath of the Wild for it to
right.
have won again.
I
So
think that's another thing. I know it's Baldur's Gate 3, but it's been so long since the last one. Whereas like I guess Alan Wake 2 it also has been a long time.
mhm,
But Spider-Man 2 I mean it's a fresh franchise. We've had multiple games of that series within the last half decade.
mhm,
You had Resident Evil, which we're getting new games of that
every year
every
and
other year.
remakes
And it
every
was
year. Mhm.
it was a remake. Legend of Zelda, that's another one that we've gotten another game of it recently.
In
Like they're all
2017.
games that are just perfecting a craft, whereas Baldur's Gate 3, because of how long it's been, was I mean essentially a new game from the ground up.
Mhm.
And I mean it just I don't know. I haven't heard anything bad about it.
No, I've literally like usually you hear some bad things, like you see some glitches on Twitter where like, oh, please fix this. I've heard nothing but praise for like the the people who voice act, the characters in the game. I'm pretty sure there's a roll of the dice for doing like kicking a cat or something like that. Like
Yeah,
what? Like
not wrong.
it's just like the options in that game. It sounds a lot of fun. Like I wouldn't personally want like it better be a high number. Like it better be you have to roll 12 to kick the cat because I want lower than that. I'm not kicking cats. I've got two of my own. Not doing it.
Well, I understand. Like it's essentially just a big video game version of Dungeons and Dragons, like with the dice rolling, which I know. I mean, they kind of correlate. Like video games and Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of people overlap between those two things. So it's just another reason to be super excited. Like when that game came out, because I also didn't hear anything about it until it like. So
I'd never heard of Baldur's Gate before, so when people were like, "Oh, Baldur's Gate 3 is out next week," I was like, "What?"
yeah,
Like, am I supposed to know what this game is? And then it got released, and everyone's raving about it. So obviously, I did the thing of I researched it, and I was like, "What is this game about?" And it was like, "It's Dungeons and Dragons." Like, I'd never played Dungeons and Dragons growing up, so I guess I've got no edge to play it. Like, I didn't really want to play it, but maybe one day I'll have to play Baldur's Gate 3 because I mean, Game of the Year. It's not easy to win.
think so. And it's another game too where, at least from what I know, it's co-op to an extent. Like you can have multiple people in your party, which is just another like it's just another reason. I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons for playing video games is to bring people together, like I mentioned earlier. So, and you can get a group on there and just play it like a fantastic, like long campaign in Dungeons and Dragons style. I mean, how could you not love it?
Gotta love it.
So,
Gotta love it. Again,
yeah,
I definitely need to give D&D a go, but I'm not good at being creative with anything. So when it comes to like giving my character a description, I'm like, he's 6'2". He looks like me because I can't think of anything else, and he's got a sword. Like, yeah,
yeah,
but what type of
big,
sword? A spiky one. One that goes jab jab. Like I wouldn't be
yeah,
able to describe it for you. Like I would struggle so much, and then when like they come up with like, oh, well, what are you gonna do next? Run? Like, come on. I'm not very good at this, so maybe I have to try it
yeah,
before I comment about how bad I am, but I'm definitely gonna be bad.
yeah. But it's fun. But,
Another quick thing on the awards thing. So obviously Nintendo did win. Tears of the Kingdom did win an award. There was also a few other games that won awards, like Tshia was another award. It was
oh yeah,
TCHIA.
yeah,
That won an award. And then going over like the mobile game. What was the mobile game? The Honkai Star Rail, is it?
sure.
I think it was that one mobile game, which honestly I wasn't really surprised by that winning, because everyone just loves that type of game. But the
Mhm.
one that I'm confused by, and a lot of people are talking about it, which is good. You know, talking about gaming is good when it comes to like the
Right.
Game Awards. Best ongoing game. Should Cyberpunk of one? I'm gonna ask you directly because I kind of want to know your opinion. I have my own opinion. I want to know, and I think the viewers definitely want to know. Did Cyberpunk deserve to win?
I do think Cyberpunk like deserves it for sure. I'm not necessarily for sure it deserves it over other games, but it deserved something because for a game that was supposed to be so good and then it flopped so bad for that company to stick with it, similar to No Man's Sky, it like they stuck with it. They made the improvements they needed to. They kept their head down. They apologized for it to be the game that it is now
Mm-hmm.
and how good it is now. Like, I mean, it's ongoing. They made it amazing. I mean, it has to be at least talked about.
I think it has to be talked about, but like when you compare it to like an MMO like Final Fantasy 14, which is ongoing, like they bringing out new expansions, like their start was terrible as well. They did get rid of like the whole base game. Like when you play Final Fantasy 14 online now, you're starting from 2.0. Like the whole game from 1.0 to whatever it was deleted. But like Final Fantasy 14 is now in like its DLC 5, 4. Like it's gone far, but like you've also got Fortnite, which I mean, I don't play Fortnite. I don't really like Fortnite, but like the things that they're doing with their game, they're bringing Lego. They've brought back for the new world. They brought out the no build. They've done so much for that game. It's constant updates to that game. Right. I think it got snubbed. I honestly think it got snubbed.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Fortnite, I also do think it's like too early to tell on some of the features. Obviously, this Lego Fortnite thing, I don't think it was even announced before the voting closed.
True.
Like integrated, and I don't know if we talked about it personally, but like Fortnite, I feel like it's trying to might trigger people by saying this, but take a Roblox approach to its development, whereas it's trying to make like games within its games so it can be a platform.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing. I think Fortnite will do great with it, but Fortnite's been doing great, and I don't know. It's hard to say because if a game deserves an award, it should get an award. I think Cyberpunk deserves it. I don't know.
I just don't think you should get an award for really messing up your game and then fixing it. So that was my point of view on it.
I get that. Also,
but then I wish there was a DLC.
I wish there was a way to do different awards type. It almost feel like it could almost be like sports, where I don't know, like an
Most
NBA
improved game,
like comeback player of the year, where a player gets injured the season before, and who was the best that came back from an injury. Like games that started off rough but came back and stuck with it. But not every studio can do that. I mean, if you're a small studio and your game flops off rip, you might not have the resources to keep going.
Exactly. You're awarding those who are definitely AAA. But yeah, I think that's everything for the award side of things. So I hope everyone enjoyed the discussion for our first podcast here on the channel. Again, you can find us on Twitter at PowerUp Podcast. Again, everything will be in the description. It's really difficult to say because Power itself is taken, so we've had to do PWR up, like our overlay. So it's like that, podcasts. And again, Ace, where can we find your personal individual social medias?
I mean, I'm mainly just on Twitter at AceTheTurtle7. That I mainly just tweet from the podcast Twitter, if I'm being honest. That's what I'm most active. But yeah, no, that's pretty much the only thing you can find me on right now. I do stream and YouTube a little bit, but we're trying to get that back going. It's on pause, but yeah.
Again, all the social medias from Ace will also be in the description. You'll find them all down below. Go and give them a follow. Give them a sub if it's on YouTube. And you can find me on YouTube and Twitch. Boom, look at the fireworks going on right now. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube and Twitch with Grub Plays. Again, my socials will also be down below in the description. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Please hit that like button, subscribe on this channel. Give us comments, any feedback, any questions for us both to answer, or just one of us. Like, if you don't like me, fair enough. Ask Ace the questions. Make sure that you specify in the question, like, this question is for Ace. I won't feel hard done by. I might just cry off stream, off camera, off everything. But no, it's honestly, we're so excited for this project. We're so excited for podcasts. Like, this is gonna be a weekly thing now, and yeah, we're excited by it.